heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me.
Alright, big guy, thoughts? Do you think this tree's strong enough to hold my arm force? I guess we'll find out. Well, thoughts are 10 minutes away from the start. I'm amped. Let's, time to get after it. Time to push. Time to find the limit. And, I just want to feel it. You know what I mean? Like, get out there and, like, rip into that. Double down on the pain and that discomfort. I'm seeking that today to a new level I've never been before. So this is testing ground for me. Obviously for the 70.3 distance as a whole, but for the Kona and the big races coming up. So not focusing on anything else, but getting out there and getting after it.
I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the pride, respect. And I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat. Cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family. So they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank. They see the number, all of my haters feel one of two ways. Really upset that they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it. No beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it. We'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up. And go ka-ching and on a pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder. And put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me.
All right, Justin, didn't have the big swim group that you normally have, did a lot solo. How'd you feel out there with your result?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It was definitely solid. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be firing on all cylinders just 5 weeks after the Ironman, but I think that was about the maximum of my capacity today given the training I've done since the race. So I'm pretty happy with that. Got to battle with my boys, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm hoping that's enough points for me to get in the Collins Cup. We'll find out this week.
Going into with a result like this weekend, will you race 70.3 Worlds or no?
I was going to skip. I mean, for me, it's all about Hawaii, and Kona is like my biggest goal, and I'm always going to be better at the Ironman than the 70.3. So I'm really happy with the top 5. I even told Jeanni last night, I was like, I'd be really happy with the top 5 in this race. So I kind of was exactly where I thought I was going to be, and it's all about the Ironman now. This is the first race in a build of many, many weeks of Ironman training. Still got a lot of fitness to build. So given what I've done, I'm really happy with that.
See you in Kona.
Let's go, Hawaii, baby.
Kona.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just ask me the questions. Because I think we haven't raced with each other since St. George. Obviously, that wasn't that long ago. But this was like another, probably the most proof that we've had that we're the most consistent couple right now doing it equally at the highest level. You know what I mean? I think that's worth something.
Well,
Metzlers don't play, we don't mess.
No, I'm just like, it's just nice that we've been able to figure out what we need to be able to race together, because like in the past it's been really hard. Like in the past we used to race with each other, and like mostly like one of us would do well and the other wouldn't, and it would be like really hard to manage.
You can say
that.
Mostly you would race well.
No,
and
I didn't
poorly.
mean that. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's tough when we both race, like, because we obviously care about each other too. Like the whole day I was thinking about you because I couldn't see you and I didn't know where you were. And
I only start worrying about you when I know I'm potentially going to see you, or I see one of the other girls, and I'm like, I don't know if she's in 5th, I don't know if she's in 10th, I don't know if she's winning. I just couldn't tell anything.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, I only saw like Sam in the lead, and the race was a bit of a blur. So, but then I saw you on the runner, and I still didn't know what place you were in.
I was like, go, babe.
And we were like, oh, can't breathe, but go.
Go.
So do you guys like racing together at the same race, or do you prefer to, like, maybe one, like Jeanni, you were in Courtling supporting Justin, like watching on the sidelines? What do you like better?
I personally enjoy racing together. I just feel like even like the week leading into the race, we kind of like in a certain mood, and we're both on a certain schedule, and it's kind of fun just to get out there and race the same course. And
yeah, it feels like very lopsided when it's one in a supporting role. And I feel like as a racer, if you're the racer who it's like, all right, you're there doing your thing, it's almost like you feel bad for being the person who's racing, because you know that them being there is them relinquishing their role as a professional athlete, and they're taking on role as spouse or supporter. And it's like, you know that that's not necessarily what's best for their training. So like even in Coeur d'Alene, it was amazing to have Jeanni there taking care of me, but there was also this aspect of like, oh, should she rather be home training and preparing for her big races that she's got coming up? So I felt that during the race, and like obviously that went very well. We've also had races where it's been the other way around, where I've come and supported you, and it's like, yeah, you've probably felt similarly, and then the race didn't go well because there's almost too much pressure.
Yeah.
Because you almost feel like you have to, like when we're both racing, if one goes well and one doesn't go well, regardless of the result, that's on you 100%. But let's say, for example, I sacrifice my race to come support you, then it's like, it's all on you to perform for us both, right?
Right.
So that's almost too hard. So it's good to do it together. Yeah, we had like the raw emotions. I feel like today we'll probably have a little bit more of like a detailed discussion. Yesterday we were just so like out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like, it was the first time we actually got to spend some time with other professionals after the race, because we haven't really been socializing.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. Right. But yeah, we got to speak to a lot more people yesterday, and
the most detailed discussion.
That was kind of nice.
Yeah, the most detailed thing that we had was with Aaron.
Yeah, just
and Aaron,
like chatting with Aaron.
Yeah, we were like at a party last night, and we're like hanging out with her, and most of the conversations we had were like very much not about triathlon, maybe a little bit about the race, like how to go or whatever, but it was mostly just like catching up with our friends. And then like obviously we hung out with Aaron for a little bit, but then she was like, all right, dude, tell us. We all got to figure out what we got to do.
What do we got to
do?
Yeah.
And she's just like, to have that, someone like that in our corner who's just like, you know, she's out there, she's witnessing it, she's seeing it. She's like, all right, what do we got to do to make these guys take that next level, jump, or just be better? That's awesome, you know? Funny, because you like, I want to hear your opinion on this, but I like don't, it's almost like I don't realize it. I mean, like you are so focused on what's the next thing, what's the next result. Okay, I'm second, now I want to be first. Okay, I was third, now I want to be second. Or I've won before, now I want to do that again. It's like you get that feeling and you're just like, what's the next level? What's the next level? You always go like this. And very rarely do I take time personally, or do we take time to look back and say like, oh wow, I've come a really long way. And I feel like everyone on my team is just reminding me like, wow, think about where you were when you raced this in 2017 or 2016 or whatever. And now you're up there, and like, by no means was yesterday a disappointment. Like, it was a very, very good race, but it's like I'm still itching for more, and you still long for that. But I think now, like, I guess in hindsight, this is the conversation that we need to be having, is how far I've come and you've come and the sport has come as a whole. And for us to be here now in the mix, both having top 5 finishes, it's like, all right, that's pretty sweet. Do you want to win? Of course. But I think we've got to like appreciate the fact that improvement is still like very valuable and cool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great question, because if you ask us how do we think we've done like yesterday in terms of like a year ago, absolutely we've improved, right? But I think it's just challenging because our sport is just getting fast so quickly, and it's so like, it's easy to forget that like, oh, I've improved so much in a year, but times are just getting faster and faster. So you automatically compare yourself to, yes, those who are winning, the times are getting faster, and we, the type of people who are like, okay, what do we need to do to be up there?
Yeah, and this is like...
yeah, you can only go on your timeline, right?
That's it. And we can sit here and say, how many times do I have to get in front of the camera and say, my performance yesterday would have won the race or been on the podium of the race 2 years ago. It's like, that's not a valid excuse anymore, because it's just like, all right, get with the times, right?
Right.
And so we're training as hard as we possibly can, and I think like, but we've also got to just be a little bit more celebratory of like relative success. Of course we want to win, like winning is super important and it feels great and that's awesome, but it's like when you improve and you're solid and you have like a decent result, like a top 5, like that has to be celebrated. And it's like, talk to your 19 or 20-year-old self as a first-year pro and say, oh, how stoked would you be with the top 5 at Boulder? You'd be like, I'm over the freaking moon. Mm-hmm. And so it's just so interesting. I was thinking about this yesterday and almost having like a moment of deja vu. And there's this moment at the finish, right, where the top like 5, 6, 7 guys come in, okay? And then you kind of have like this immediate post-race war story debrief. So like immediately I cross the finish line, I collapse, I'm next to Sam, I'm next to Brad, we're having like our conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And then there are other guys trickling in, right? And then from there, it's almost like the top 5 has their little club of we went through something together.
All right.
And so I had that with like Sam and Brad and Colin, and we had this like little like, you know, like it's almost like a brotherhood of the guys who went and we battled it out. And for years, like I would walk past that scene in 25th place. And none of those guys would give me the time of day because you didn't go through that experience with them. Maybe you'd have your own little pod of people that you raced for 20th or whatever, but I was always like longing to be in that discussion. So more than 3rd versus 4th versus 5th or whatever, the fact that I'm in there with the guys having that conversation, that means a lot to me.
Right.
And that's special.
It is special, and I think, I mean, our number one goal going into this race was to get out there and push our limits, and I think we both did that. And every time you can get on a start line and your body is able to push and you are able to get the most out of yourself on that day, yes, sometimes you get to win, sometimes you don't, but we were able to really push yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what we really enjoy doing and being in the mix. And I think we're just learning that, you know, it's really hard to have all 3 come together on the day. You kind of have to have a really special day.
Yeah.
You got to have some luck. Your body needs to be like on track, and those days just don't come very often. So you kind of got to keep that in perspective and be like, okay, kind of take out what you learned out of the day and keep going forward, because those days are out there. They don't happen very often, but they're very special, and that's why we keep going, because I know those days are out there.
All right, I hope that was interesting, informational. This is our post Boulder 70.3. Kenny's gonna have to edit this. This is way too long.
I personally think this is like a great race report, right? It's so different and it's dynamic.
All right.
I don't.
Was our energy level good enough?
Let us know if you like this different race report better than talking about watts and sweating and everything else. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I hope that like gives you guys a little inside look at like what we are thinking about behind the scenes, rather than just like swim, bike, run, train, acclimate, conditions, blah blah blah. Like these are the real impactful decisions that we talk through. And so I think this would have been like a very similar conversation had we not had it on camera. Like we would have talked through all this stuff regardless. So let us know down below if you liked it, and see you at the next race. Peace.
That was really good.